Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of On the Clock with the HVC, a series connecting alumni and students. I'm Jess Perillo, class of 2014, Assistant Director at the Harvard Varsity Club, and today we are joined by some incredibly impressive members of the newly established Harvard Athletics Black Varsity Association. We have Harvard undergraduates Sharelle Samuel, Codi-Ann Reid, and Mason Forbes, as well as two of their alumni board members, Ngozi Musa and John Van Allen. Thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation. We are very excited to learn more about the formation of the HABVA, your mission, goals, initiatives, and how the alumni and HVC community can help support you all. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to John and Ngozi to take it away.
Just to pose a question kind of to Sharelle and Mason and Cody, being a part of the HABVA organization, just kind of get people up to speed of why the HABVA was started.
Yeah, I can grab this one. So this organization was created in light of the uprising, and not to mention the fact that nothing like this currently exists for Black athletes at Harvard. And so essentially, like when you're attending an Ivy League institution as simply like an athlete or even just as a Black student, it can be very daunting and you might feel as though like you don't have a community. And so when you take into account that you kind of fall into both of those groups, it might feel like you definitely don't belong. So we really wanted to create HABVA to kind of form an organization in which Black student athletes can come together and kind of be united.
Thanks, Sharelle. With that kind of being said, as HABVA continues to expand its reach and grow as an organization, what do you guys really see as the organization's missions and aspirations as it grows its recognition on campus and, like I said, creates its own place amongst the varsity athletes, but as well as the broader campus?
Yeah. So the formal mission of the Harvard Athletics Black Varsity Association is to ensure that Black student athletes on campus feel welcome, supported, and heard. We are an inclusive organization partnered with Harvard Athletics to enhance the Black student athlete experience through educational opportunities, community service, advancing social initiatives, and creating lasting connections within the Harvard community and beyond. And so essentially through our mentorship programs, community service initiatives, social justice acts, and professional development events, we hope to create a lasting connection within the Harvard community and beyond. And we want current and future Black student athletes to feel as though they most definitely have a place at an Ivy League institution, regardless of their status as a student.
That's an amazing mission. And I think just understanding how new you guys are as an organization being founded in August, can you kind of give us some details on kind of what you guys did this fall to support student athletes during the fall semester, especially in the midst of COVID-19 and being a new organization founded within the COVID-19 pandemic where some students were on campus, some students were off. Just would love to hear more about what you guys were able to accomplish this fall semester.
All right, so I can grab this one. Essentially, we knew that with the pandemic going on and a lot of the students being on campus that we'd have to have some form of virtual event. Zoom was our platform as given to us by Harvard. And so we just had kind of different events that we knew that we needed to allow the athletes to have a safe space, especially with all that was going on earlier in 2020, as well as just to have fun, relax, chill. So we had a community conversation regarding athletes' activism and their role in pop culture. We've been posting and highlighting Black student athletes as well as Black alumni on our social media platforms. We hosted study breaks to bring athletes of all class years together where we could jam out, talk, study. We had breakout rooms where, of course, the new Among Us game is popular with college kids. We helped to promote the Be Ballot Ready event, which was hosted by alumni Chris Eggy, who's class of 2018. As we know that it was also an election year and we encourage students to vote, giving them advice on how to prepare, going to the stations, the voting stations, as well as mail-in ballots. We hosted a student athlete panel that also focused on navigating Harvard as a student athlete. So we featured 10 Black student athletes here at Harvard We opened it up to first year sophomores particularly, but all class years were welcomed. And that event is actually on the highlight video is on our YouTube page, so you should definitely go check that out. We launched a student athlete / alumni mentorship program where current student athletes signed up to receive a mentor in their field of interest. And we really just wanted to focus on getting our name out there, especially as a new organization. We knew that, of course, our target population would be the Black athletes on campus. So, first step, create the group me, add all the Black student athletes to the group chat, create the email list, just to kind of get our name across and focus on building that community. And essentially with that, we are able to connect with other student organizations, BSA, NSA, HABVA, BMF, the other Black student organizations, to really come up with events that will make Black student athletes on campus feel more welcomed.
I think that's awesome. And, in the short time that the group has been established, starting back to August, and just with Zoom University in the fall semester, you guys have definitely found a way to be creative and, getting everyone together, as you alluded to, Codi-Ann, it's like building that sense of community. So that is awesome to kind of hear and, see the traction that you guys have already, yielded so far. And I've tuned into a few of the Zoom meetings, and, they've all been pretty good, I must say. But with that being said, just to kind of piggyback off Ngozi's question, so what do you guys see as like the plan for spring semester as some students begin to come back on campus in like a hybrid form, with some students still on, on Zoom University, but also some students on campus? Are there any big plans in terms of engagement for the spring semester?
I can take that one. And yeah, like you mentioned, is a little bit different situation with a lot of athletes still not on campus, and some athletes on campus. So just trying to make sure that we're still building that sense of community. And as Cody said, we recently launched our student athlete and alumni mentorship pairing program. So we're going to continue that, and that will be underway for the remainder of the semester. For student athletes and alumni who are still interested in joining that mentorship program, they can still join. Also, prior to the start of the semester, we formed the HABVA book club and held our first meeting in January with a handful of students attending that. We're looking this week to co-sponsor the Valiant Voices event, which will be Friday, February 5th, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. We also have recently reached out looking for 2 first-year representatives to add to our board in order to establish and build a better relationship with the first-year student athletes, and especially given the time of Corona, to make sure that they're involved and feel like they have like a sense of community. Also this month, we're looking to host a Valentine's Day event partnered with GASA. That's going to feature Valentine's themed friendly competitions that's taking place Thursday, February 11th. And then we're going to continue our bi-weekly study breaks, with the first one being this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also during those, we'll be having a streaming event of Sorry to Bother You and the Boondocks as part of this book club theme for this month, which is a celebration of Black genius, which is, we'll be closing out our Black History Month events. And then we have a few more events that we're looking forward to in the future. In March, we're hosting a town hall, which we're going to gather insight and suggestions from the community prior to meeting with the athletics department. And then we're also looking to host an end of the year banquet and celebration to honor our Black student athletes and honor our seniors before they graduate. So we're looking forward to doing a lot more, especially when we're no longer remote next year. So a lot of our focus right now is kind of building the infrastructure and building that sense of community and making sure that everyone can stay connected despite the complications that we're going through now.
That's amazing. And I think it's really cool that you guys have been able to build, like John was saying, build community in the midst of having some students on campus, some students not on campus, and still be able to run a lot of events and be a support system to student athletes within the community. And I think one question is just about your Valiant Voices and Vision event that's coming up this Friday. I'd love to hear more about what you guys are doing there and kind of the people that are involved with that.
Yeah, for sure. So as we mentioned earlier, it's happening this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And so essentially, two of our board members will be introducing the panelists and welcoming guests. And it's going to be hosted by LZ Granderson, who works for ESPN. And it's going to feature some star guest some professional athletes. So we have professional tennis player James Blake, former captain and professional New Balance track and field athlete Gabby Thomas. We have U.S. Navy veteran and rugby pioneer Komagandi Fishbin, and former basketball team captain and founder of No More Names, Christopher Eggy. And so they're all going to be speaking on social justice, navigating Harvard and life while being Black, and using their voice and platforms in our current era. And this event is open to everyone. I know Athletics has advertised it. We've advertised it. It's on Go Crimson. A quick drop link is bit.ly/Valiant Voices. And if you go there, you can get more details on the event and the Zoom link, which is a webinar style. You can go there to get the webinar Zoom link for the day of the event as well.
I mean, I'm excited to hear about it. It definitely got a great lineup. I mean, I know Eggy, he's kind of the, I want to say the spokesperson for a lot of these events per se, but he's always great whenever he does chime in. So I'm excited to hear everyone on the panel. And like I said, it looks like it's gearing up for a great event coming up. Just shifting gears a tad, Ngozi and I are the Alumni Liaison. So in our seats, we definitely are looking for ways to best help the HABVA in any way we can. Is there anything in particular that us, the alumni, can do to best support, along with the varsity club, to best support HABVA's efforts in terms of, one, just engagement, spreading the initiative and the mission of the organization in any way else possible? I mean, I know, yes, the mentorship that you mentioned, the mentorship program that you mentioned, Mason, is already in the works, and that's definitely something. And it'd be great to I already signed it myself, but for everyone else who will be looking at who'll be watching us on the Zoom call, just to see where they can go to sign up for that if they are interested. But like I said, just any way that the alumni can best support HABVA's efforts in any way possible. Be interested to hear you guys' opinion on that.
Yes, of course. So one of the greatest things that you could do is donate. Of course, in order for us to have events where we're able to invite guest speakers who are outside of our community as well as inside of our community, in order for us to have events where we can give prizes or fund some of the books for a book club, we do need money. And so donating to us would be a great way for you to contribute. Once again, the mentorship program applications are still open. They'll be open on a rolling basis. So definitely promoting that. We know that some people don't have social media. Some people are not on Instagram, some people are not on Facebook. And so it'd be great as well if some of the alums could really share it with their friends. Just send it on like a train. You send it to your friend, their friend sends it to the other friend, and just keep that train going until we get the word out, as well as sharing it on your own personal social media as well. Just resharing our posts, resharing the post on the Harvard Athletics Black Varsity Association Instagram. That would be very helpful as well. Join our LinkedIn group, that'd be amazing. We have both alums and current student athletes on that. And so just accepting a LinkedIn request from someone, even if you don't know them, you see Harvard athlete sharing your advice and career opportunities that you may have available. That would be great, as well as joining our mailing list to stay informed of all the events and just sort of opportunities that we have that we're sharing to our community.
Awesome. And how can people join or subscribe to the mailing list?
Okay, so the mailing list is habva@lists.hcs.harvard.edu. So just once you type that in to the email, you could, it will give you some prompts and then you will hit subscribe. or you could email us at harvardathleticsbva@gmail.com, and we can just add you to that list quick and easy.
Okay, you want to just read those over one more time, just so people
Yes.
can get those one more time.
Of course. So the email is harvardathleticsbva@gmail.com, and the email list is habvA@lists.hcs.harvard.edu.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate you for that.
Yes.
I did have one more question. In terms of just, yes, it is important for you guys to connect with the alumni, but I also think it is equally important to connect with the broader Harvard community as well.
Absolutely.
And I know you guys already mentioned that you're already kind of teaming up and connecting with a lot of HABVA, BMF, BSA, etc. But for other allies in the broader community, what do you think is like the best way for people who are interested in supporting HABVA's efforts and mission? What do you think is the best way for them to engage and get involved, if they so choose to be?
Mm-hmm. Now, our events are open to everyone. Everyone can come to the events. Everyone can join the email lists. So all of these resources that we have, the social media, everyone can follow it. Everyone can reshare, repost. So definitely shopping on that as well.
Awesome. So now, like I said, we obviously want to establish HABVA as amongst the Harvard athletics, but it's also important to establish the organization in the broader Harvard community as well. I just think it can just only spread the organization's reach and extend its mission as well. So just wanted to for you guys to touch on that as well. Ngozi, I don't know if you had anything else.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you guys brought forth a lot of good ideas, especially donating as ways to be involved and support you guys. And I hope anyone listening to this conversation is able to really take note and work with you guys on that. I don't think I have anything else to say. John, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I think you guys definitely did a great job of just highlighting ways for people to get involved. One, two, like I said, expressing the mission and why you guys felt that there was a need specifically for Black varsity athletes to come together, provide a space and a forum to have these open collective thoughts and just continue this. Obviously 2020 was a rough year just in a number of ways, but there also was some light in it. And like I said, bringing people together, specifically, this organization as a means to just have a support system, have a, place for everyone to convene, and bringing other teams from all across Harvard athletics together, something that hasn't historically existed per se. So this I think was a great opportunity for that. But yes, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and sharing you guys' insights and giving us a little bit of insight into HABVA. And I'm definitely excited for the future to come.
Definitely. Thank you. And we appreciate y'all for making the time and giving us the platform and the space to be able to promote and share our group with y'all and with the Harvard community. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, our Instagram, just plugging it, is HAthleticsBVA, just in case you're trying to find it.
That's our Instagram. That's also our Twitter handle.
That's important.
Yeah.
Very important. One more time, when is the Valiant Voices again?
This is Friday, February 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to find out more information or to get the Zoom link, you can visit bit.ly/Valiant Voices.
I'm excited.
And if you have any particular questions, you could just email us or DM
What's those
us.
emails again?
The email is harvardathleticsbva@gmail.com.